Hello, friends, and welcome back for part 2 of the live snatch challenge. My heater actually just went on, so if you're hearing any background noise, that would be it. But last week we spent all of our time going over those snatch prerequisites, and if maybe you sent me some form videos and I got back to you, and I've been working with some of you one-on-one, so it's been super fun. And if you haven't gotten that far yet, don't worry, you're going to have these videos for as long as you need them, so you can go back and watch those snatch prerequisites, especially video number 2, that live recording. Okay, so with that, today we're going to talk about the actual snatch, and we're going to break it up into 2 parts. So we're going to talk about the down part. We're going to go top down, and then we'll talk about bottom up, or if you're coming up for that snatch. So just a reminder, some of the things we've been over. The first one is the kettlebell clean, which is really close to your body, and it's how you get into the racked position. The second is the kettlebell swing. It's the furthest from your body, but it's still very powerful. And the last one is the kettlebell snatch. And this is where you rip the bell up, punch the sky, and lock it out overhead. And this is probably the most powerful one that we have. So let's talk about the top down position. So we're going to start from our clean to overhead press locked out position. We know that here we should be nice and strong, so we don't want that elbow bent. If somebody were to push down on us, we wouldn't be going anywhere. Our fingertips can touch the sky up here with the bell sitting nice in our diagonal. So the first thing you want to do from here, I'm going to kneel down so you can see me, is be able to turn your pinky. So you see this, where your palm is facing forward, is going to turn into this, where your pinky is now facing the front of the room. Okay, so this to this is the first part of letting the bell kind of tip down on its own, and gravity is going to take it down. So you're not just going to start from up here and drag the bell down, because that would be this floppy motion that we don't like. Instead, you're going to let the bell kind of tip over, and gravity is going to take it down, okay? So from here, you're turning your thumb forward and kind of pouring that bell out. Now, the second part of this is going to be the path that that bell takes, and that path is going to be with a bent elbow kind of directly in front of you, right? So pouring out, and you're not dragging the bell down. Instead, the bell is following a path down your midline with a bent elbow. So path down the midline with a bent elbow is the middle part. Now, how do we get from here to this middle part? Okay, there are a couple of cues that I really enjoy here. The first cue is going to be pour the pitcher. So I love drinking tea. I have a cup of black tea every morning, no lie. And I have, like, I forget what the brand is, Corksy or something. It's an electric kettle. And so I just hit on boil black tea, and then I pour my tea out. And that's the same thing that you're going to want to do with this kettlebell, is pour the tea out until it kind of falls on its own. So the next one is opening and closing a garage door. So you know that your kind of hand would grab onto it, and you'd open and close it, and you get that nice bent over elbow motion. And the next cue is painting a wall. So you can paint a wall up and down just like this, and you'd be getting that same snatch motion. And the last one is going to be a gooseneck. So you want to think of like a gooseneck as you're dragging that bell up and down, because this little bend of the wrist into the bend of the elbow is exactly what we want it to look like. And that's why it's called a gooseneck as you get that bell down. So the reason why I'm telling you all these different cues, which are cues that you'll also see in the videos later this week and then some, is because it clicks differently for everyone. So everyone kind of has that, like, something different that's gonna, whether it's the paintbrush, or for me, it's the kettlebell tea kettle, that's gonna help them turn their pinky, get their wrist bent, and get into this position to get the bell going down with a bent elbow, because everyone forgets that. Yeah. Now there are a couple of things that I want you to look out for to not do. So I'm just going to peek out my notes. Aha. So the first one is you don't want to cast the belt out. So we just talked about all the ways that you want to bend your elbow, but what you don't want to do is go fishing. So if you've ever been fishing, you're going to take it and you're going to cast it out really, really far. You don't want to do this, right? Where when you're casting it down, your arm is absolutely straight out like a swing. That's something that you want to avoid. The second thing that you're going to want to avoid is dragging the bell down. So if you didn't catch it in the beginning, I said that gravity is going to have that bell bring the bell down. The second that you allow it to kind of start slipping, gravity is going to go. So what you don't want to do is drag the bell down at a very fast speed. And that's kind of like, that actually hurt my shoulder a little because I was like yanking the bell down. It hurt my wrist too. It's not a arm motion, the up and the down part of the snatch. It's a hip powered motion. So you really are just letting gravity bring you down to the floor. And that's it. The last thing that I want to talk about on the down part of the snatch is going to be, we talked about here, talked about turning the pinky, we talked about bending the elbow. Once you get to gravity bringing you down, you don't immediately want to hinge early, right? You want to wait for this bell to be about by your hips to your thigh level before you're hinging. So it's almost like, it's called playing chicken with the bell. You see, it's kind of like if somebody were like to pretend to like throw something at you and you can't flinch, you're playing chicken, right? You're kind of waiting as long as you can to hinge over before that bell drops. So boom, 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 okay? So you're playing chicken with the bell. You're only hinging once that bell is actually down safely to a place where you can hinge. And when that does happen, the bell, you're turning your thumb. So we started up here, we turned the pinky, the bell's coming down. As it comes down, our thumb is coming back. So your thumb is the thing that's going to go nice and high and back behind you. Because remember, we've still got, just like in the swing, the thumb comes back and we have that nice up position. In the snatch, right, or the clean, it's the same thing. Thumb back, clean it up. Thumb back, clean it up. Same thing with the snatch. Thumb back, snatch it up. And what that means when we come down, we then have to thumb back, okay? So that's everything for the down part of the snatch. You've got the slight rotation, the bent elbow, and then the hinge once gravity gets it with the thumb behind you. Now, to practice this, I'm going to give you a drill. If you are in a place where you can practice it, you can pause and practice with me. What we're going to be doing is a clean and press. And once you're up here, you're going to snatch down to the floor. And then you're going to go ahead and drag the bell back towards you and clean and press again. So it looks like this. The bell starts by your ankles. Oh, you can't really see me. Okay. The bell starts by your ankles. Clean it. Press it. From here, get ready to snatch down and then let it go. And remember, when we let it go, we are nice and high in the crotch, and then we're not just spilling our weight forward. We're keeping it exactly how you would start the swing is how you would end it. Drag the bell towards your ankles. Clean. Exhale, overhead press. Snatch down. Reset. Boom. Clean. Overhead press. Snatch it down. Reset. I want you to go ahead and try 5 to 10 of those on the right and the left side. You can pause me and then put me back on when you're ready. Okay, now that we've got that, we're going to do the up part of the snatch. So a few things we need to remember here. The snatch is hipped power. So I don't want to see anybody trying to drag the bell up by their arms, okay? This is no hip power whatsoever, and it doesn't feel good. It's uncomfortable and it hurts. Not to mention, if I do this, I'm probably going to get that pounding on my wrist at the top. That doesn't feel good. It is not an arms movement. It is a hip powered movement, just like the clean, the swing, and then the snatch. The snatch is actually the most powerful movement. So even if you thought that your swings were getting a lot of power, when you transfer to the snatch, you really got to up the power of your hip snap. And when that happens, you are driving your heels through the floor. You're actually pushing into the floor to get the power into your hips. So it's almost like you were going to jump squat, but you're not actually jump squatting. You're just ripping your hips up as the bell comes up. All right. So it's still mostly hip power. The bell path on the way up is very similar to the way down. You want to think just of the up part of the gooseneck, right? Beautiful little gooseneck. The up part of pouring out some tea for somebody to drink. The up part of painting a wall. So exactly what we did on the way down, we're now going to do on the way up. Easy as that. Simple. Clean here, snatch here, swing here. Clean, snatch, swing. Got it? So that is the path of the bell on the way up. Now, the biggest, most important thing once that bell is moving is just how in the swing you have this moment of lightness, right? This moment where the bell doesn't have any gravity. We're here, somebody could take a photo of us, and then gravity starts to take us down. You're gonna wanna do that same thing for the snatch. We're here, once it gets to about above that shoulder level, you're stabbing your hand through the bell. So you wanna wait until you're here, stab, right? Boom, stab. The stab starts happening right here. I let the bell flip around my wrist and come into that diagonal. So in the clean prerequisite video, we talked a lot about our hook grip, right? When we're swinging the bell back and how it transitions and rolls across our wrist into the diagonal grip. This all happens at an exponential rate when we're doing the snatch, and that's why we spent so much time on it when we were doing our clean. So you want to find that place, right, where it's going to float and then punch up, right there. All right, and that's going to take some practice. And the cues that I want you to think of are punch the sky, stab the sky, and of course, spear the hand through so that you land here. And remember, you're opting for that from the hook grip to the diagonal grip so that the bell doesn't flip, right? If you death grip this bell and you just hold on to it like this the entire time, it's gonna flip over and leave a bruise. That's why it's so important that yes, back here, you're gonna be a little tighter. Yes, here you might be a little bit, but you're gonna loosen that grip so that the bell can spear through and get diagonal. That's why we don't death grip the bell. We allow it to rotate in our hands to that upwards position, okay? So no death gripping the bell. The last cue I have for you, we talked about the hip power. We talked about the path of the bell staying close. We talked about once you get to that moment of lightness, you punch through the bell and get into your diagonal. You don't wait till you're at the top to initiate the punch. It's not here, punch. It's here, straight punch, okay? Very important concept to start spearing and start punching the second you get to that moment of lightness and not wait till the end. And the final one is going to be what your feet are doing. So I dare you to watch any newcomer to kettlebell's feet when they're trying to do a snatch or a swing, and you'll probably see either toes lifting or heels lifting off the ground. It's called dancing feet. How are we going to get power if our feet are leaving the ground? How are we going to maintain balance if our feet are leaving the ground? Power comes from our feet and it's transferred to our hips for that hip powered movement. So if there's a leak because our toes are lifted, we're going to be off balance. If there's a leak because our heels are lifted, there is going to be something off balance. So I really want you to focus on having a deep connection to the ground when you're snatching. And it's going to be a little hard, but you really need to suck that power from the ground to power those hips up, rather than thinking that you're going to pull that power from your lower back or your arm by cheating and dancing with your feet. Okay? So I have a couple of different, oh, I lied. I do have one more cue. That last cue is how you breathe. It's how you breathe, which is so important. It is consistent throughout everything in kettlebells, and I hope that that has been clear to you. We're going to inhale on our down part of our hinges and exhale when we're driving through the floor and snapping our hips. So for the clean, for the snap, for the swing, sorry, and for the snatch. Okay? Huge, strong exhale as you punch the sky. Inhale as you come down. That is the breath pattern that we're trying to maintain. Inhale through the mouth, through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, sharp exhale through the mouth for the snatch. This is different from the overhead press. Remember, the overhead press we said was a grind. So we're going to fill up our belly with our inhale and then a nice slow snake. The snatch is actually, it's an explosive movement. So anytime you have a grind in kettlebells, it's slow and controlled exhales. Anytime you have a ballistic explosive move like the swing or the snatch in kettlebells, you are going to be really quick, really quick exhales. Okay, now we're ready for our drills. We have 3 different drills. The first drill is going to be a dead stop snatch. So dead means from the floor. You're going to set up the same way you would set up for your clean, with the bell between your ankles. Then you're going to get nice and low, really, really low, right? So that you can use your power from your glutes, your hips, your hamstrings, and rip the bell up. So we've done dead stop cleans where we've ripped it to here, but now we need to take it even higher and rip it to the sky, re-rack, come back down. So you're going to rip the bell up, punch the sky, re-rack, come back down. Re-rack, come back down. Think about those hips. Re-rack, come back down. It helps me to angle the bell like towards my shoulder rather than just having it laying flat on the ground. It's almost like the reverse of the hike. It's back here now, and you're punching the sky. Okay, so that is drill number 1, the dead stop snatch. Do that 5 times on each side or until it starts to feel good. Your next one is going to be a hike to a snatch. So this one is the one where you'll start seeing toesies dance. It just happens because for some reason with the hike, people feel a little bit more off balance. So this is really getting into the hike back to the swing. You're going to start with the bell slightly in front of you, right? Get your triangle position. Really get low. I'm seeing a lot of people starting all the way up here. Get nice and low. Lift the booty a little. Make sure you feel it back there. You're going to hike it back, right? And then rip the bell up, punch the sky. Re-rack, come down. I do want you to try practicing this just body weight first so that you're not scared. You know what you're doing, right? So hike. Big exhale, punch the sky, re-rack, come back down, reset. All right, let's go. I'm going to show you 3 reps. Just like that, smooth as butter, all right? That 5 to 10 times each side. Hike, rip, back, down. All right. And finally, you're going to put it together for a continuous snatch. So thumbs going back, you're ripping up, you're holding in your locked out position, and then you're going again, pouring that teacup down. So it looks like this. Your setup is the same. There's 8 reps for you. I want you to hit 8 to 10 on each side. Thumb comes back. Big exhale. Punch the sky. Squeezing everything like a standing plank, right? Booty squeeze, thighs are squeezed, feet are grounded. You don't know if I just did a snatch or a clean to overhead press. You don't know because it's the same motion. Then you come back, thumb goes back, you hinge over, you rip it up again. You saw how important my breathing pattern was as well. So that's all the drills for the snatch. We've got the down part, we've got the up part. If you have questions or concerns that I did not cover, please send me a DM on Instagram. That's how the majority of you guys have been getting in touch with me, and I've loved it. My DMs are open to you, and they're open to your videos too. Videos or questions are welcomed. So I just want to talk about a couple of recaps. What goes wrong in the snatch? The first one, the foundation of this is going to be a bad setup, right? So if I'm starting with the bell all the way out here, I am not going to have enough power to really rip it up how I want to. Drag that bell in, pack the shoulder, get your weight in your heels. Now I can have some power. The second thing is going to be dragging the bell up or dragging the bell down. So if I'm here, I don't want to just drag the bell down, right? Dragging the bell down means I'm using my shoulders, which is going to hurt, and I don't have correct timing. And you will find as you do consecutive high amounts of reps, and you saw me do this with my 8 reps, that my breath and that pendulum, tick, tock, inhale, sharp exhale, inhale, sharp exhale. That is so crucial in the snatch. And it gets messed up if we're just dragging with our arms. Third mistake, casting the bell out wide. Fourth mistake, death gripping the bell so that it plops over. You want to allow the bell to rotate in your hand and spear up into the diagonal. And I think that's all the things that can go wrong for the most part. What I really want to say is the most 2 important things. One, you've heard me say it a million times, hip power. Connection to the floor, gripping with your big toe, your little toe, the pads of those toes and your heels is going to allow you to transfer that power. Make sure you know that a hip hinge is when your butt goes back, right? A hip hinge is not when your torso folds forward because my butt is still in line. It is when you have a soft bend in the knees and the glutes go back. Hip power, right? If that's confusing you, go ahead and do a few squat jumps. That's the same type of power that we're looking to generate. And last, this is my most important piece of advice. No hesitation. Do not hesitate. The snatch is a move that absolutely needs commitment through the up and the down part. It needs you to fully commit to it. No hesitating. Just try that. The first couple times, I know it's tempting to like wince or close your eyes during the snatch. Find a little target that you can oscillate in between a few feet in front of you. Drive through your heels, have that power, feel powerful. Tell yourself that you are powerful, and don't let that doubt get in your head, because in order to punch the sky, you're going to need that 110% commitment. All right, guys, our next live is going to be Friday at 8:15 Mountain Time. That's Mountain Standard Time. That is Denver, Colorado time. I'm so bad at time zones, so Google it. Find out what time that is for you. Put it on your calendar, and I'll see you then. I would love to know, love to hear from you guys. If there's anything that you want to go over live in that session, think about that as time for you guys, time for yourselves. The only thing that I have to introduce is more drills that are going to help you master the snatch. They're going to help little things click. So it's less teaching. It's more like, here's some drills to practice, and it's going to be quick 1-2. So come with questions, come ready. And I can't wait to see you guys then. Thanks for tuning in. I am Nicole Bedoya of the Bedoya Bells membership, and y'all are badasses.